but mostly it's all Catholic. And if they do practice old stuff, they keep it quiet. Uh,
But why should they keep quiet if they practice the evil
accused of
stuff?
witches. If it's not Catholic, you got to be a witch.
No, but for example, what that would be considered to be a witch?
some of the old some of the old religion. See, that's why in Europe they had the witch hunts because
Yeah.
most of them were just practicing the old religion, and they weren't Christians. So you had to kill them because they weren't Christians, and they might make other people want not believe in the Christian church and to get to heaven.
Yeah.
So because the whole thing about the church, most of it had not that still doesn't have anything to do with belief. It has to do with money, big business. God is big business,
Yeah.
and people ask me what church I go to. I said I don't go to church. Well, why not? I said why? I said if you believe, I said nature is His church. You go to the forest, you go to the desert, you go to the mountain. It's church. I said a bunch of men that got together and made bricks and put it together and made a building. And they call it a church. So I don't go to those buildings. I go to the forest. I go to the mountain. I go to the desert. That's what God made. He didn't build that building. And they understand what I'm saying exactly. It's just that they've been taught to believe in the man, the Pope. He's a man. All these people that listen to the sins and everything else, they can't forgive. These people have to forgive themselves before they can forget. You know, it's like, okay, if I have God within me, if I'm the temple of God, then I don't need to talk to that guy in the booth in the long black dress. It's that simple. I don't need to go to that building because I have it right here. And they're not telling me that. They're not telling me that I have God within. They say, well, God's out there. Well, my God isn't out there. My God is there. So, what do I need to go listen to their what I consider lies for control, for money? No. I'm very cynical when it comes to stuff like that. I went I went to many churches as a young person. I spent 4 years with the nuns. And when I asked one of the nuns why certain things, she said, well, any means justifies the end. When I asked about the Inquisitions and stuff. So, oh, any means justifies the end. I said, I was, less than 15 years old, and I knew better than that. And this is what they're teaching people? No, no, no. I don't do that. Because any means does not justify the end. I mean, if everybody thought that way, where would civilization be? I mean, we're in trouble already because the veneer of civilization comes off with just a little bit of alcohol. And, now when it comes to things like that, I'm a very cynical person. I have my own beliefs. If somebody wants a name for it, I give them a name. This lady this morning says, well, what religion do you profess? I had to think about it. I said, well, I'm a Buddhist.
Do you mean it or just jokingly?
No, it's
Buddhist.
not a joke. More or less, it's one of those things that people want a name for stuff. And I'm not a Christian. And so, and I'm not a Jew. Most things that I do believe in are more Buddhist than anything else. So I tell them I'm a Buddhist because they want a name. And they'll just sit there and until I give them a name, you know. Everybody has to have a label. So it doesn't matter whether I believe it or not. And I think the Buddhist thing is probably the least invasive of all the religions, and they don't send out a bunch of people to change my mind. That I appreciate. Because I don't like missionaries. They kill culture. They go everywhere, and then the people are never the same because they can't even build their houses the way they used to because, oh, well, we're going to build you a house, and it's going to be this way. It can't be any other way. Give me a break. It's just a house. No, I've talked to missionaries that came coming out of South America and everything. What's with you people that everything has to be your way? I said, what you're doing is you're doing like they did in China. You have your rice Christians. You feed these people, and they say, okay, we'll be baptized, and they go back to being what they were after you leave. Because you didn't really change their mind. You just gave them something they needed. So what's the point? You can give them something they need anyway, without any conditions. Oh, but they can't do that because nobody's going to give them money to do that. See, the people in the States aren't going to give the missionaries the money to just to give it away. They have to have something in return. So you get a bunch of words that aren't true. There's a lot of people that do convert, and then all they do is hassle everybody else. I was down in Guatemala last year, and I couldn't believe that they have some very nice schools in this one area. But if don't belong to the church, you don't go. Because they're privately owned by the church, and it's all evangelical. So I think I think you should go out and educate people
Yeah.
anywhere
Yeah.
without having to change their mind about what they believe in. Because education is going to change their mind to some degree about a lot of other things anyway. You don't need to confuse the issue between education and religion. But you can't tell them that.
Do you have very good friends of the Aborigines? I mean, the Maya
A
people.
few, a few. Not very many.
Yeah.
Uh,
What do they think of their culture, or to preserve their culture? As you say now, there is no Maya culture
okay.
anymore.
The ones that are trying to preserve it are educated people. The other ones don't care. The everyday people, they're too busy trying to survive. They don't. Hey, the only reason that they've got the tourism is because of the ruins. Without that, they'd have nothing. They'd still be going out there to the fields every day instead of going to Chichen to sell to the tourists. Uh, that's all it means to them is a living. The people that are trying to preserve it are like I said, educated people that think it's a world treasure. So, and that's true all over the world. It's like you got the Taliban that blew up those Buddha statues up in the mountains in Afghanistan. I mean, to me, that was a national treasure. Forget the religious aspect of it, but to them it was something to do to get attention. They've definitely got the attention, and what they don't realize, okay, it's a world treasure, but religious-wise doesn't mean that much. And it's been there for how many hundreds of years? Maybe 1,000 years. Who knows? And they're just. I'll give you for instance. I used to live on this ranch out here, and we had an area in the middle of the ranch that we call the sanctuary. And somebody gave the owner a huge rock that had all kinds of crystals in it. So we put that in the middle of the sanctuary. And a friend of his called up and says, "Look, I've got some uh, grown Boy Scouts, like they're 19, 20 years old, that would like to camp out someplace, and can we use your land?" Well, I went out there 2 days later, and they had broken the crystal to little pieces. And I said, "Why did you do that?" She said, "Oh, it was just too beautiful. We had to destroy it." I thought, okay.
Did they just get away with doing that?
Well, I told him to get off the property. I said, because when the owner comes, he is going to be very, very angry. And then we're going to call the guy that's in charge of that asked us to let you come here and to not have anybody come here anymore from the Boy Scouts. Said, if this is what they teach you in the Boy Scouts, we don't need you here. And they were gone within half an hour. I was just furious. And I let them know it. Then I had to tell the owner what happened when he came. So we never allowed anybody to go in that we didn't know. Like, we had camping, but these kids went out into the sanctuary and destroyed it. No more Boy Scouts. So there's people that they can't handle anything.
Should I pick them?
Mm-mm. Because when you pick it up, it's harder to see.
But those friends of yours, they don't practice any traditional any things of
No, the ones my friends that used to do that, they died. They were old. Most of them are dead now.
So they live just as people, as we do. They don't have anything special in their lives. I mean, the Maya people. No.
Mm-mm. No, the Roman Catholic Church took care of that.
But I think that the influence of the church is very weak in your